Hello, and welcome to a new episode of our podcast. Today, we're talking about a topic that interests many of you, and maybe even makes you a bit skeptical: how you can speak fluent English in just a few days with a clear and realistic learning plan. Yes, I know what you're thinking. Is that even possible in just a few days? The answer is yes, but not in the way you might expect. You probably won't be able to debate like a native speaker after just a few days. However, you can reach a solid B1 to B2 level, speak confidently, and feel comfortable in most everyday situations. And the best part? We have the perfect step-by-step plan for you. No unrealistic promises, just a clear and achievable roadmap with real results. So stay with us. By the end of this episode, you'll know exactly how to plan your next few days to take your English to the next level. What does speaking fluently actually mean? Before we get into the learning plan, let's first clarify what fluency in English really means. Many people think that being fluent means speaking perfectly, without mistakes, without hesitation, and with a perfect accent. But that's a complete myth. Fluency doesn't mean perfection. It means being able to express yourself confidently and naturally in everyday situations without constantly searching for words. You don't need to know every word. You just need to understand what the other person is saying and respond spontaneously. One of the biggest mistakes is thinking that you have to master grammar perfectly before you start speaking. That's completely wrong. If you really want to become fluent, you need to focus on 3 key skills. 1. Listening. Regularly expose yourself to English content, podcasts, films, conversations, and integrate the language into your daily life. 2. Speaking. Actively practice speaking, even if you make mistakes. That's the only way your brain will internalize the language. 3. Thinking. Start thinking in English instead of translating everything in your head. This is the key to fluency. It's not about perfect grammar. It's about communicating confidently. If you train these 3 skills consistently, you can speak English fluently in just a few days. Not perfectly, but with confidence. And that's exactly what we'll show you today. Stay with us as we break down how to master these 3 elements in just a few days. The reality of learning English in the UK. Now, let's talk about real-life experiences. What is it actually like to learn English in the UK? Many people think it's simple. I take a language course, learn some vocabulary, and after a few months, I'll speak like a native speaker. But the reality is often very different, right? Oh yes, the reality is definitely different. It's not easy, but it's also not impossible. The biggest mistake many learners make is thinking that they must be perfectly prepared before they start speaking. They want to master all the grammar rules, build the perfect vocabulary, and memorize every rule before they even open their mouth. And this is the real problem. That approach is completely wrong. The truth is, you don't learn a language by preparing. You learn it by using it. No matter how many books you read, how many apps you use, or how many times you repeat vocabulary, if you don't actively use the language, you will never become fluent. It's like learning to drive a car. You can watch as many videos as you want, but you'll only learn to drive once you actually get behind the wheel. And the problem is that many people are afraid of making mistakes. They think, if I say something wrong, people will laugh at me. Or even worse, people will think I'm stupid. But the truth is, most native speakers are very supportive when someone tries to speak their language. I've seen so many situations where someone spoke broken English, and instead of laughing, people actually helped them. Native speakers know that their language can be difficult, and most of them actually find it impressive when someone makes the effort to speak English. I've met so many expats and international students who told me that native speakers are often encouraging when someone tries to speak English, even if it's not perfect. The usual reaction is something like, "Wow, you already speak quite well. Keep going." And do you know what the best part is? Once you start speaking, it gets easier every day. Your brain adapts to thinking in the new language, and suddenly, words come to you faster and more naturally. Sure, at the beginning, you'll make a lot of mistakes. That's part of the process. But those mistakes are how you learn. Mistakes are proof of progress. And this is where many learners get it wrong. Mistakes aren't a sign of weakness. They're proof that you're making progress. Every mistake you make is an opportunity to learn and improve. But if you're afraid of making mistakes, you block yourself. And that's how you get stuck at a beginner level. Another big challenge is that spoken English often sounds very different from what you learn in textbooks. For example, a formal English book might teach you to say, "Good morning, how are you?" But in real life, people often say, "Morning, you all right?" Or, "Hey, how's it going?" Yeah, slang, accents, and speed can feel overwhelming at first. You might learn that "good afternoon" is the correct greeting, but then you walk into a cafe and hear "sup?" or "how's your day?" And you're totally confused. That's why it's so important not to rely only on formal learning. You need to experience the language in real life. How to learn real English. Go out and talk to people. Listen to podcasts. Watch TV shows. Bring English into your daily life. You have to learn the real language, not just the textbook version. And here's something interesting. Once you understand the basics and start having real conversations, everything starts to make sense. Suddenly, the grammar and vocabulary you learned come together naturally, and you start using the language without even thinking. The moment you realize, "I can do this," that's the moment when you realize, "I can actually do this." You won't understand every word, and you definitely won't say everything perfectly. But that doesn't matter. As long as you understand the main idea and can express yourself clearly, you're already making huge progress. Fluency is a journey, not perfection. At first, every conversation might feel like an exam, but after a few weeks, you'll suddenly notice that you're shopping, chatting with colleagues, or ordering food, without even thinking about your words. The language just flows. And that's what makes our step-by-step learning plan so effective. It's not about being perfect. It's about taking small, consistent steps every day and using the language as much as possible. Maybe after a few days, you won't speak perfectly, and that's completely normal. But you will be confident enough to hold a conversation. And that's the real breakthrough. The power of structure, a practical plan for learning English. That's exactly why our daily plan exists. It gives you the structure you need, but it also pushes you out of your comfort zone so you actually use the language. Sounds good? Then stay with us. We're about to break it down step by step so you can integrate this plan into your daily routine and avoid common mistakes. This will be practical, so grab a pen and paper and get ready. Let's go. How do you learn English effectively today? What's the best way to learn English nowadays? Are there new methods that work better than traditional language courses? Absolutely. Traditional courses are helpful, but the fastest progress happens when you combine digital learning with real-life speaking. Here's how. 1. Apps like Duolingo, Babbel, or LingQ. Great for building vocabulary and grammar. Short daily lessons keep you on track. 2. Language exchange communities like Tandem or HelloTalk. Chat with native speakers and practice real conversations in a safe environment. 3. AI-powered tools like ChatGPT. Simulate conversations, get instant feedback, and improve your pronunciation. 4. Watching movies, TV shows, and listening to podcasts in English. A game changer. It helps you get a feel for the language and learn how real conversations sound. The key? Combine these 3 methods: daily app practice, regular conversations, and targeted AI-assisted learning. If you stay consistent, you'll gain fluency and confidence within days. Not perfect English, but natural, confident speech. Sounds like a solid plan? Stay with us. We're about to show you how to turn this into a daily routine. All right, now it's time to get practical. We've talked about why active speaking, listening, and daily practice are essential. But how do you actually make it work? How can you realistically reach fluency in just days without feeling overwhelmed? That's why we've created a structured roadmap, a clear, step-by-step plan that helps you systematically internalize the language and practice it consistently. So grab a pen and take notes. This plan is divided into 3 phases, each lasting a few days, focusing on 3 key skills: understanding, speaking, and thinking in English. Phase 1, days 1 to 3, building a strong foundation. In the first few days, focus on developing a solid base, vocabulary, basic grammar, and listening skills. Without this foundation, it's hard to keep up in real conversations. Daily routine: 15 minutes of vocabulary practice. But don't just memorize lists. Use apps like Duolingo, Babbel, or Memrise, and apply new words and sentences immediately. Your brain learns faster when you actively use the words. 15 minutes of listening practice. Podcasts, movies, TV shows. Even if you don't understand everything, just listen. Your brain automatically adapts to sentence structures and pronunciation. Bonus tip: write down common phrases and expressions from the content you listen to. This will help you respond faster in real conversations. It's not about studying for hours every day. It's about doing a little bit daily. 15-30 minutes is enough, but you must stay consistent. Miss one day, and you risk losing your rhythm. So stick to the routine. Also, don't be afraid of mistakes. This phase is not about perfection. It's about building your vocabulary and listening skills. The more mistakes you make, the more you learn. Phase 2. Days. 4 to 7. The speaking breakthrough now. It's time for the most crucial step: speaking. At this point, you've built a basic foundation. Now you have to start using it, even if you make mistakes. Daily speaking routine: 10-15 minutes of active speaking. And I mean really speaking. Have a conversation with a language partner on Tandem or Hello Talk. If you don't have a partner, talk out loud to yourself. Describe your day, what you ate, your plans. Use AI tools like ChatGPT to simulate conversations. The key is to speak every day, even if it's just to yourself. Bonus tip: use voice recording apps to listen to yourself and track your progress. Now, it's time for the final stage, where you stop just using the language and start living it. Here, the focus is on speaking naturally and spontaneously, fine-tuning your fluency and thinking in English. How to train natural fluency: watch English movies without subtitles. Yes, without subtitles. At first, you won't understand everything, but your brain will automatically fill the gaps over time. Have longer conversations. Start real conversations with native speakers. You'll notice that your brain begins processing English automatically. You'll think less and respond faster. Integrate English into your daily life. Change your phone language to English. Write your to-do lists in English, and start thinking in English. Describe what you see, your plans, or even your emotions in English. Bonus tip: record yourself speaking and analyze your progress. Now comes the breakthrough moment. At first, you'll hesitate, but after a few weeks, words will start coming naturally. You'll react in English, not just translate from your native language. This is the true sign of fluency. And remember, the most important thing? Stay consistent. Now let's summarize our 10-day English learning plan days 1 to 3. Build your foundation: vocabulary and listening days. 4 to 7. Train speaking, regular conversations and practice days. 8 to 10. Develop fluency. Use English naturally and spontaneously. No perfectionism, just practice. The only real mistake is not speaking at all. Final motivation: keep going. If you follow this plan, you won't be perfect in 10 days, but you will be more confident, faster in conversations, and able to use English naturally. So, what are your best strategies for learning English? Let us know in the comments. If you found this useful, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Don't miss our next episode.